Hey there, today we're going to talk about those 5 scariest moments I ever had when I was gaming. I mean those true adrenaline reaction moments where you can feel the hair standing on the back of your neck. I'm still shocked at how even today, those little old pixelated retro moments can still give me that reaction. And I'm actually going to provide you with the footage of the games too to give you some context. I mean, maybe it'll be lame by today's standards, but I mean, I was still having the same reactions when I was reflecting on it getting ready for the video. And I can't wait to share these with you today, so let's get started. Again, all 5 of these are in no particular order because they still get a very similar reaction out of me even to this day. And first up is probably no surprise to you guys, but I just love this game, and that is Friday the 13th on the NES. I mean, this game pretty much checks every box for me. It's one of those, it's true classic retro fear, but it's still campy and wholesome. It reminds me of spending time with my family, but the first reaction is just how terrified you were the first time that you ran into Jason in that cabin. Even though the game is a bit confusing and has quite the learning curve, I mean, the music is the perfect combination of creepy and nostalgic. Jason is still terrifying even to this day. And like I said, this will always be the first horror game that comes to my mind. Still have 15 kids. Okay, he's going to do twice there. Almost there. So I may be okay. Let's see what we got here. Ooh, that was risky. Okay, so we got him on day 1. So day 1's over. That's the biggest thing. The main thing was that Mark didn't die. Up next is a game called D that I played on my Panasonic 3DO in about the mid-90s, I think. If you haven't played this game before, you're basically the main character named Laura, who is trying to find her father in this kind of mysterious, I think it is like a hospital, which kind of morphed into some creepy ancient castle. I mean, it is very confusing at the beginning. I mean, spoiler alert if you haven't played this game before, but I mean, it has been out for a long time, so I guess I'm not really spoiling that much. It ends up that you are Laura, and your dad ends up being Dracula or some reincarnation of Dracula or something like that. But what is so terrifying about this game is that your dad would come to you in visions and yell, "Laura, Laura," real creepy during it. And oh my gosh, I still feel me looking over my shoulder in my game room growing up. I mean, his voice is legitimately terrifying. And then the moment in the game where you realize that your dad is Dracula, and then Laura's father finally reveals that in your veins runs the blood of Dracula or something like that. And oh my gosh, I still remember how terrified and shook I was. And when you go back and look at this game today, the graphics are terrible. I mean, this is one of those first early rendering 3D computer graphics. I mean, yeah, it looks horrible. Like Laura's hair looks like straw from like a scarecrow, but it still produced genuine gut reactions for me, so this game will always hold a special place to me.
Laura. 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 This is your father. Laura, go back. You must not cross over to this side. So, Laura, you've come. Now I will tell you everything. Hear me and leave before the one who is not me can emerge. Laura, in our veins flows the blood of Dracula. Yes, Laura, that time came for you as well. I erased the memory, so you have forgotten. When Dracula took control of you, with those very hands you killed your mother.
My next most scariest game is Five Nights at Freddy's VR. Now I know this isn't a retro game, but this is kind of a retro game at heart because it's basically these creepy animatronics that gives you a lot of the Showbiz Pizza vibes that all the animatronics came to life and tried to kill all of the children, which I know isn't that too far of a stretch from us. I mean, I know that's how I feel about Showbiz Pizza. It was great. I love looking back on those memories of going to Showbiz, but at the same time, those animatronics were pretty freaking terrifying. And I played this game with my kids because my son Blake and Emma really got into Five Nights at Freddy's when it was out there for a little bit. And I always thought the games were scary themselves, but when they got the VR version, it is way more intense than it should be. And I was trying to put on a brave face playing for them, and I legit was scared and didn't want to do it because you would have to get like right in the characters' faces, and they would do these jump scares. And when it's in a VR mode, it was a totally different ball game. I was shocked at how much it immersed me and brought me into the game. So if you do ever get a chance to play it, it is pretty terrifying. I say terrifying a lot in this video. I'm realizing that. The Five Nights at Freddy's movie is coming out right now too, and Blake's super excited about that. And by the way, you guys probably haven't seen Blake in a while. Blake has already went and grown up on us, everybody. I know when we started the channel, I think Blake was about 10 or 11 years old, and he's a senior this year. So, yeah, a lot of time has passed, and it went by really quick, but I'm very proud of that boy. And I think I actually do have some rough footage that we recorded of me playing the game back in the day. And you gotta look here too, because your boy was about 90 pounds heavier in this video. So give me a little bit of a break, and this was very rough footage. But you can just see how I was trying to put on a big game and a big game face for the kids, and your boy was scared. I don't know why I keep saying your boy all the time too. I think I'm trying to channel my inner Theo Vaughn here. Any Theo Vaughn fans out there?
Okay, now is my battery going dead on my...
Oh God!
Hey, you guys.
Okay, you laugh.
Tell us when he laughs.
Make sure you don't run out of time either.
Tell us when he laughs.
Are you serious?
A little bit.
Alright, one more time.
My fourth game is Dracula Unleashed, which I played for the Sega CD. I mean, I am a sucker for any Dracula story, it seems, and I love the Sega CD full motion video games. I know I've talked about them a few times on the channel, but what I liked about Dracula Unleashed was it was a great story that really tried to tie into the lore of the Bram Stoker's Dracula story, and it was set in England, I think 10 or 15 years later after the events that happened in the Bram Stoker novel. I think the story flows very well. It's great acting in it for an FMV game. But there is this one scene that is so terrifying. The actors did a great job, and the directors and the composers did a fabulous job of matching the music and illustrations to really portray the man's story in the pub. I don't remember the characters' exact names, but the main character, Alexander, was talking to this guy at a bar called the Saucy Jack Pub. And they were discussing this legend of the Bloofer Lady, is what I think they called it. And just the way that the guy was telling the story in a creepy old dank English bar. And they would cut to illustrations of like a wolf and a vampire. And I mean, it was great storytelling. I remember sitting in the chair in my basement playing this game, and the fact that the chair wasn't up against the wall was the biggest fear for me, because I kept looking over my shoulder every 2 seconds to make sure that wolf wasn't going to get behind me. I really hope you captured the essence of the story when I show you the clip here.
Good Lord, what was that?
It was a wolf's howl, Governor. That's not a sound you want to be hearing around here. Last time I heard that, it meant death. The Demeter Wolf, they called it. Come off a ghost ship in a storm, sent by the devil himself. Only one still aboard was a captain, dead. The beast fled that damn ship first chance it got, running off to the devil knows where. None of us saw it again till it came after me mate's whales. I was watching from the woods, too far away to help. I seen it coming after him, snarling as loud as all the demons of hell. My knees gave out as I seen it leap at him. The merciful Lord blessed me so I wouldn't remember what happened to him, but as I fell, I swear that wolf reached for swales with 2 arms as human as yours or mine. Poor old soul. They never found the beast. Still out there somewhere, waiting for its next victim.
And last but not least is the original Resident Evil on the PlayStation. and in particular this one staircase where I think it's the first place you could save a game and use one of those ink ribbons in the typewriter. The bottom of that staircase looks exactly like my parents' staircase. So yes, where the house where I grew up in and was still living at that time, that staircase was pretty identical. I remember it wasn't that big of a deal until I climbed the steps for the first time, and I think there was a zombie waiting for you right when you got at the top, and I about jumped out of my skin. And basically every night for a couple months after that, I would do one of those where I'd flip the light switch and run upstairs as fast as I can to make sure no zombie or somebody was going to get me on the way back up to my room. And I think we all remember that terrifying part when that dog jumps through the window in Resident Evil. Geez, that was pretty traumatic. Alright guys, that's it. Let me know what you think about that, and I want you to share any of your best scary moments in the comments. Till next time, G3 out.